Ethereum goes up 15% in one day. What should you do now? This is the Saturday morning edition market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Everybody thinks the Fed determines the fate of the world. News flash, they don't. It's called fiscal dominance. What really matters is how much Uncle Sugar spends versus what he takes in. Currently, they're running a $2 trillion a year deficit. So all this nonsense about, well, you know, they could raise rates or lower rates or tighten or ease in 25 doesn't matter. Okay, so let's recap what just happened. Everyone gets all wound up about what the Fed's going to do, like the good old days. They use this, they as in big over-the-counter dealers use this as an excuse to try to knock the market down because they have huge amounts of Bitcoin and apparently huge amounts of Ethereum to buy because there's an Ethereum supply shock in play. Like Ethereum's rate of inflation is smaller than Bitcoin's. They have huge quantities, they as in over-the-counter dealers, institutions, ETF houses, they have huge amounts to buy. So they try to push the market down. Hope Powell will say something stupid. Powell is kind of neutral, like, yeah, we're open to adjusting policy. And then the whole market skyrockets 15%. Doomberg says Wall Street gets the rally that it wanted. Okay, so the Fed, that doesn't matter, said something that made the algorithm squeeze out the shorts, pump it. And now the big question is, now what do you do? Now that the Fed drama or the government has to tell us what to go do with ourselves. Okay, that's over. Congratulations if you survived. And everybody's going to tell me that they missed it. You haven't missed anything. All they did was adjust out the downward pressure, the artificial nonsense to try to get as much crypto as they could. They just unwound it all in one afternoon in dramatic fashion. So everybody thought the narrative changed when the market went down. It didn't. And now that the market's gone up, people may think the narrative is only about the Fed, and it isn't. Well, and you're like, okay, Bill, well, YouTube is making me watch this on my phone because I understand that's how it's been working. So welcome. Thank you for watching. What does matter? What does matter? Okay, let's review that. First of all, there's no sound money on the planet. None. Outside of crypto. That's it. Okay, you have situations in the Middle East and Eastern Europe that are dangerous. You have fiscal situations in multiple countries in the G7 that are dangerous. You have huge components of the general public left out of the AI-based prosperity wave, aka the NVIDIA trade. So where does that put literally everybody? Everybody, right? No one's got any confidence in sovereigns. None. Like they've got the army on the streets of DC and the army is headed to Chicago next. Wow, really? The army. Okay, well, I know crime's bad in Chicago and DC, but we got the army on the streets now, really. Okay. Well, that's probably a naughty thing to say on YouTube, but I don't know about you, but I want a different form of money. And with Ethereum moving, there should be a new focus, not about the Fed, but about Ethereum and everything that goes with Ethereum, like DeFi oracles, like Chainlink, like all of decentralized finance, layer twos. And you're like, what's that? Okay, well, it's time to DYOR, right? We're doing the YouTube member podcast right after this with some hot off the press research plus Toby's genius stuff. So, you know, what's next is coming up, including the strategy, but I can help y'all with some basics. DeFi is back. Solana is next. No question about it. Like if ETH goes like 2021, all the other layer ones go with it. Everyone's like, I want 2021 back. Okay, bro, here it is. Here it is. And what's funny is it's dipping this morning and no one wants it. Everyone's like, oh, okay, well, I missed it. And they're just going to go to the beach. Meanwhile, something could happen here. Solana could smoke. If ETH holds, Sui could be next. In other words, you got to go into what's next mode. You see green when everything else is down. Guess what? That's it. Like UMA, again, a DeFi oracle up. Okay, just for the sake of everybody who is having a mental breakdown because our GAN model put Arrow on a sell list. I asked again, and it said you can selectively scale back in if ETH holds. Right? Just find green anywhere. Right? If you find a green coin when everything else is down, like this morning, which is why we're on the air. Why are we in the air at 7 o'clock in the morning Central Time on a Saturday? Well, because we're looking for what's up. What's up? Oh, look, Avalanche. Huh. It's 2021 all over again, right? If they're going to do DeFi on ETH, they're going to do DeFi everywhere. You do realize that these protocols, like Avalanche, is not only geared for DeFi, it's also geared for security tokens. Like, banks got to wake up. You ever hear this saying? Well, you probably not because you haven't heard it in a long time. Long Bitcoin, short the banks. Long Ethereum, short the banks. Banks are going to get forced to participate in real world assets and DeFi, or they're going to get disrupted, which would be even better. So everyone's like, you missed it. And I'm like, you haven't missed anything, right? ETH will go first, and then everything else will follow. Well, what's everything else? I don't know, bro. Just find whatever's up today. JTO, Solana liquid staking is up. The whole market is down. Just find what's up. Let's go to memes just to see what's there. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Check it out. Some memes are up. Like, Solana was up more. It's holding. Crow, Aleph. Interesting. Right? Solana outperforming Bitcoin. Cosmos. Like, what's Cosmos? Dude, Cosmos and Polkadot are interoperability. Bob M looking at AAVE, right? Drift is higher. And you're like, Bill, why are you reading me these names? Dude, because I'm telling you, anything that's up after a move like this is going to go. Like I said, ETH creates alt season. Now, Greatest is asking me about XRP. The thing that people don't realize is that how narrow this rally has been. It's been Bitcoin, and it was only Bitcoin, right? It was Bitcoin with ETH and alts getting destroyed, particularly with ETH getting destroyed. Okay, now ETH is obviously not going to get destroyed. ETH can't even make a 38% retracement without gapping higher. So Tom Lee, right, the Michael Saylor of Ethereum as of now, he's got everybody on the run, man. He's on podcasts. He's like, you got a supply shock in ETH. It's like, okay, well, who's going to fade him after this kind of move? Nobody. So everybody will take profits, or everyone will sell, or there'll be an absence of buying because all the shorts got blown out and they're giving you a dip again. They gave you a dip all last week. No one wanted it. Now they're going to give you a dip again. And with this solar eclipse coming up on September 7th, and then there's another event later in the month. Volatility is the order of the day. Now, if I had to guess about the weakness, other than the fact that everything was up 10% last night, was the new moon. Sometimes the new moon can give you a temporary top. So you have a temporary top on your 89-minute chart. So what? In 2021, your homework was simple. Find out what was up on a down day. And that's what's next. And of course, it's going to be Solana. And then someone's going to ask about XRP. And I'm just going to continue to say what I've been saying is that XRP is going to be a takeover target. Like, for example, what happens to XRP when, oh my God, Crypto Billy is here. Welcome. Atom and Polkadot. Dude, I agree. Interoperability. Like, and what's interoperability? Connecting all the blockchains together, or being able to have a blockchain itself that spreads out and scales without layer twos. This is like old school boomer crypto stuff, right? Before memes, right? This is now the DeFi super cycle. Welcome to it. XRP. So what's going to happen after Gemini goes public? How many companies inside crypto are going to go public? To me, Gemini feels like the big one. Tether might try to do something. All right. As long as the stock market stays up, Tron might try to go public. World Liberty might try it. I'm just speculating. All I know is that there's a line of people to go public in crypto. And after you have one or two of these things go well, Ripple has to be next. You have to start thinking about XRP by thinking about Ripple as a company that can go public or get taken over. And when that happens, obviously that changes the value of XRP. It also makes it harder for Silicon Valley to get their hands on XRP as a monetary system for whatever tech world these guys are going to create. Silicon Valley, Wall Street is not the only entity that's about to get disrupted by crypto. They're being disrupted by AI, and they're going to be disrupted by crypto next, if for no other reason they're ignoring it. Wall Street's going to get disrupted by crypto because they thought doing the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF and doing Circle and paying lip service to stable coins was going to be enough. And the crypto market is about to, they're about to like open up the bottle and out comes the lightning. They're done, right? They're going to watch this thing move in such a way that it could be shocking to them. Like, you want 2021 back, but the banks don't. Silicon Valley doesn't. No. They don't want XRP moving. The U.S. Treasury, no treasury, not in any G7 country wants to see this thing smoke higher. Because effectively, it's now thumbs down on you, thumbs down on your stupid stock markets, your stupid bond market, your world where kids have to live in their basements, guys can't support their families. You know the drill. We're all done with it. We're all done with this. And the beautiful thing is, we don't have to be upset. Matter of fact, we're going to have fun. We're going to have a good old time here, right? Because when ETH demonstrates this kind of strength, you can't stop the market. This is the history of Ethereum. You cannot stop a crypto market from going up that has ETH at the front. And somebody did notice, Bob, AAVE up 2%. Yo. Right. These are protocols on ETH that make money. That like businesses. You've heard this thing that only 18% of crypto projects actually make money and can hire people. Yeah, that's about to change. I also noticed, very interesting, that a coin that we liked, real estate on base, Propy, right? The property markets are locked. Most of these coins have done absolutely nothing. AAVE led early and then did nothing. Just Dario, friend of mine, Clearpool lending, unsecured lending like a bank, up with everything else down. That's it. And again, most people like, oh, when's alt season? Alt season is when ETH goes up 15%, is everything else that follows it. That's alt season. No one has traded. Just go through the categories. I didn't know what this was. I had to look it up. I still do. Modular blockchain, layer 2s, cross-chain, interoperability. Crypto Billy got a great podcast on Tuesdays. You should check it out. Follow him on Twitter. Billy, put your Twitter in the chat. Anything that makes the blockchain world connected, anything that an AI agent can use. So do yourself a favor. There's Solana, Ethereum, Sui. Those are the 3 big layer 1s that people know. Fill out both hands. Give me 10 layer 1s. What, you think machines are only going to use one layer 1? Machines are going to want to use different layer 1s for different reasons. Some of these layer 1s are really, really, really fast. Some of them have this thing with minor extractable value where people can't front run your trades. It's not my area of expertise, and I don't even know if I got the name right or the term right. But there's all this stuff that was rallying, like, pull up a chart and say, hey, what did this thing do in 23 to 24 when, Powell put high-powered money in the system to try to help Biden give everybody one last Merry Christmas before the election. There was a huge takeoff in 2023, early 2024, that, of course, all the way up, all the way down, just like the phony baloney rally in January. This is not the phony baloney rally. You know how you know? It's annoying. And it's annoying. You're like, okay, well, I hate crypto. It's going lower. Okay. I'm stopped out. I hate it. It's going to 0. Boom. Up 15%. I missed it. Everyone walks away. Then it goes down. Everyone wants a dip. They get one. They don't use it. The fact that this market is still giving you dips is a wonderful sign of denial, right? You don't want it to go up 15% and just keep going. It's more healthy if they get dips and people are skeptical. But what's going to happen is everyone will go to the beach. Everyone will read their research. And then people are going to come back and go, well, the Powell circus is over. Now what? Now what are we going to trade? Well, what we're going to trade is we're going to trade the Bitcoin white paper. That's what we're going to trade. Seriously. I mean, this market is going to trade crypto as it's supposed to be traded, as the complete alternative to the legacy financial system. I mean, just switching topics. Most crypto equities were only up about 5%. Everyone is in love with crypto equities. Really? You can't tell. Bitcoin miners, an organic source of Bitcoin, they were up about 5%. I smell a market underestimating the power of disrupting legacy. Like, everyone's like, well, when moon? All right, well, you can say that. Or you can say when legacy disrupted. If they disrupt TradFi because nobody can stop Bitcoin and Ethereum, how high does the market go? Like, who's probably laying awake at night wondering what's going to happen? Don't laugh. The guy who runs BlackRock. He's like, is everything we do about to get disrupted by crypto? Are we late in making a real world asset announcement? Like those guys, their phone is going to be ringing. No text, phone. Hey, what do we got going on in real world assets? What are we going to do? The bus is leaving. Like ETH went up and I was like, oh, this is cute. It's an ETH rally. Yeah. But then ETH went down. ETH went down and then went straight back up again. Now they got the case of the creeps. Now, whatever they were doing is people asking about XRP too. Same thing. Anybody who is going to do anything in crypto, they better figure out what they're going to be doing sooner rather than later. Because the market could just take off on them. And if not, when the East Coast comes back from holiday, man, they better walk into the office day one and they better have something to tell their boss, because crypto is about to shake their tree, and they're either with it, they're either with crypto, or they're against it. You get with it or you get disrupted. And you know what? Some of these dodgy old places like JP Morgan, dude, they're going to get disrupted. I go get a loan from Clearpool. I don't need you. I got to go public. Maybe we'll go public on chain. Maybe we'll do an IPO on chain. What happens when there's one IPO done on chain? One. Like that's the whole thing about this market that people don't even realize. You only need it to happen once before everybody goes, oh my God, like where has this been all my life? Like, why didn't I see this coming? Well, bro, you did see it coming. It just was this like slow grind where they pushed everyone out of the market, convincing you that whatever was going on in the stock market in Web 2, and I never fell for that. It was rapid aging, like the rest of you, watching your bags and like talking on TV and just being, just pounding the table. And like I said, we got the best part of everything is the YouTube member podcast coming up in 15 minutes. I don't know what kind of platform you're on. The live chats on, they have join buttons. There's a join button on the homepage. There's a join button at the bottom of the chat. I got 2 book reports to go over, and we're going to hear from Toby, because guess what, man? Don't call it a comeback. She's been here for at least 2 years telling you this was coming, and it is happening right now. It's happening right now. I mean, historically, what happened? I mean, in 2018, when ETH went, you had an ICO boom. So it was like initial coin offerings. You want to talk about, that was the innovator straight to the imitator, and then they got to the idiot, and it was just up and up and up and up. Everything 5x'd. All you had to do was go on Twitter and get somebody to say something, and it 5x'd. Crazy. And then it all went to zero and stayed there to the point where nobody would ever think altcoins would go up again. Then ETH took off in 2020 from 300 to 3,000. MetaMask, Chainlink, a MetaMask wallet. The first time you did a trade on a MetaMask wallet using Uniswap to get into a coin, I know guys that when DeFi took off, one guy told me he paid $600 in gas fee to get into a trade. $600 to get in. This is like a normal person paying to get into a trade in DeFi when gas fees were high. That's how hot ETH was. This says nothing about like EtherRock. EtherRock was literally a JPEG of a white rock that got you into some NFT alpha group. It's like $2 million per EtherRock. Like, you were square if you didn't have one. That's what happens at the end of an ETH mania. I'm pretty sure we just got to the beginning, and I think people are still in denial. They're still in denial, right? They don't understand what this means when this broadens out, because it's been legacy driven. Well, now we're going to flip it, and we're going to disrupt the legacy. Like, oh, the ETF guys in BlackRock own everything. Yeah, those guys aren't sleeping. Somebody's going to get disrupted, or the bus is going to leave without somebody, which again could be the XRP trade. I think Silicon Valley needs XRP. I think they need their own monetary system. I don't understand how you're going to build some giant robot. I don't understand how you're going to build Skynet. I don't understand. Elon set up some sort of competing entity to Microsoft, right? Everybody wants to disrupt everybody. And what happens if those guys all wake up and crypto is disrupting them? They're not involved enough. They're not involved at all, for God's sakes. They're not involved at all. Wall Street is quasi-involved. I tweeted something this morning that they want to send Hester Pierce, who is a nice lady and wasn't too mean to crypto, although I do think she is kind of a deep state agent. They want to send Hester Pierce all over the country to listen to crypto projects and They want the crypto projects to tell Hester, Crypto Mom, what we need. Let me tell you, Crypto Mom, if you're out there listening, you know what we want you to do? Go play golf. Go with the rest of the SEC. They unwound everything. Go play golf. We're good. We're good. We can figure this out. We have innovation groups. We got venture capitalists, guys who will write checks. We got Galaxy Digital. We'll figure it out. We do not need your help. You were going to help us in January, and then you sold over the top of us and dropped it on our heads. We'll pass. But thanks for the love. We can figure this out. I think this is part of the problem, right? Like, when's the strategic reserve? When sovereign wealth fund? When XRP strategic reserve? Does anybody remember that? What's Powell going to do? Everybody thinks that crypto needs some like external, particularly sovereign entity to move the ecosystem. And that is total bunk. The general public were net sellers of stocks before this Powell move. They got a wonderful opportunity to just be like, whoop, see ya. I'm going to rotate. They're going to probably rotate into the ETFs, and then they're going to turn around and they're going to rotate into their Coinbase account, which is why you better start paying attention to. Ready for a laugh? Crypto Billy's right. Whatever you can get, like in the top, they're going to go looking at the top coins. All right. So, what do you think you don't have to buy? Cardano, right? Sui, Stellar. Somebody might, Bitcoin Cash for sure. Green Bitcoin, right? Outperformed massively on the way up. Hasn't done anything since. Avalanche, Litecoin. Oh, dude. Normies get after Litecoin. Polkadot is still worth less than $7 billion. And Uniswap is barely above $7 billion. AAVE up this morning. Pepe ranked number 30. There's the big memes. I got a lot of people asking me about SPX 6900, Altcoin. Dude, I think it's going to be simple. I think they're just going to go for whatever they can understand. They might be able to understand Tau. They might be able to understand Ondo, right? Because it's like security tokens, pudgy penguins, right? I mean, just give me something that makes sense. I mean, can you believe things like Render, SEI? These are like sub top 50. Artificial super intelligence token, 59. This is after the rally. Jupiter, the Solana DEX at 60, because Solana's never going up again, right? This is crazy. Sky, which I believe is Maker at 64, right? In other words, what happens when the general public goes, oh, okay, well, what do we got in DeFi? Oh, well, we got AAVE and Sky and Uniswap. How hard is that going to be for them to figure out? It's not. It isn't, right? I mean, did you know Sonic used to be Phantom, which was a hot DeFi thing back in the day? Again, it's not going to, I mean, that was the top 100. Somebody might think Sandbox is cool. Virtuals. Does anybody remember Virtuals? That's like number 93. Virtuals was at 5 billion last year. If I'm looking at this right, it's like 836 million. Was that 5 billion last year? I mean, I don't know. That's almost a market update, right? I mean, what is going to happen? And of course, and I brought this up before, what happens when this Gemini IPO happens and Coinbase has to suck everything that's on the base network that's worth a darn and have it trading on Coinbase? They're just going to have to list everything, and then they're going to have a direct pipe. Trade Web3 here. Click this button. We've heard everything in every Coinbase commercial, Super Bowl commercials. Dude, we just need a button. Click here to get to Web3. How long do you think it's going to take the general public to figure this out if the market is going up. They're going to figure it out really fast, right? Really fast if the market's going up. Okay? I mean, my brother has still got stuff from the last cycle. I know he did sushi. I think he did Maker. I think he did Bancor, BNT. You don't know what DeFi thing is going to come screaming back. You just don't. You just don't. But I just read you some of the stuff out of the top 100, and most of that stuff has been like the Dairy Queen cup in Texas, where, you know, you finish your ice cream and you throw the cup out the window, and then 17 cars run over it. That's what most of this market is. And, you know, ETH went up yesterday and made the statement, and everyone is, you know, selling and going to the beach because the short sellers got all squeezed out. And now it's giving you a logical dip that may last 2 days or 3 days or 4 days. Good. You got time to get in, because I got news for you. If you're going to do research, you probably got 3 to 4 days to do it. Because when normies come in, they won't do any research. They're going to look, and they're going to see it going up, and they're going to hit the green button, and that's it. It's all over but the crying once those people get here. They're not here yet. BlackRock's having nightmares about it. So is Jamie Dimon. So are the banks. I think the only person who's like giddy is probably Novogratz, because he is most likely the institution best positioned for this thing to take off while everyone is sleeping. And Cathie Wood from ARK was selling Bitcoin last week. I'm a genius. Let's sell. I think it's going to $1 million, but I think I'll lighten up our position. To do what? To do what? Okay, YouTube member podcast coming up next in 10 minutes. I'm going to be running into the other room. Papalo69, good morning. Yi Chow, a member. Hello. Alan Wood, wrong again, members. Thank you. Right? Thank you. Bob M is here. Crypto Billy in the house. What's up? Wrong again. Hello. Don't forget to follow Crypto Billy on Twitter. It's in the chat. JB, good morning. Members. Zeal, what's happening? Right? BRC, a member. Check my pulse. Blue collar crypto. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show. Nick Phillips, hello. Nola fan, a member. Welcome. Right? Wrong again. MJ Hits is here. Don't save her. Don't save her. What's going on? Wrong again says, bye-bye Vanguard. Can you believe these places? Can you believe not only are they still around, but they control the world? Boy, would I like that to end. Oh my God. It's like, Vitalik doing like, Mel Gibson in Braveheart, or Russell Crowe in the first Gladiator, right? Strength and honor. We the best 58. What's going on? The Schiller is here. Welcome. Bull Runner. Wow, this is a crowd today. Live It 351. DJ Shocker. By the way, as you can tell, you can't open up your iPhone without me showing up on it at 8 a.m. So we thank you for watching. Thanks to our friends at YouTube for pushing it out. John Doyle is in the house. What's going on? Jackson Crawford. CP always. John said hi. BRC. Ladies and gentlemen, Toby Ward up in 7 minutes with me bringing up the rear. This is the morning market update. We will see you in 6 minutes.